right into it. So guys, this is Darth Arma doing a little bit of a nice little commentary track for HoneyBee. I know everyone, including myself, love all the sets that he uploads. You want to see high-level Flash play, don't look any further than the amazing HoneyBee, one of Canada's best players out there. And so just kind of doing this as, to add a little bit to the flavor of HoneyBee's recordings. And this specific one is a very interesting one. It's between Foxy Grandpa and HoneyBee. Foxy Grandpa usually going with Deadshot. Instead is opting to work on his Batman, and everyone's been talking about Foxy Grandpa's Batman. It's a very, very solid Batman. Foxy Grandpa's always been on this whole campaign that Batman is super potato. You guys don't know what that means. It pretty much means that he is a very easy character to use. I would probably disagree with him, although there are a lot of parts of Batman's gameplay that are very simple. To use Batman at a very high level against a defensive wall gets a little tough. You gotta think outside the box when it comes to opening people up, but it is possible. So this was just kind of like a little intro match, because we're gonna have so many matches to go through, 45 minutes worth of matches. So not really commentating on this one or really analyzing, just kind of explaining to you guys why you suddenly hear my voice during a HoneyBee YouTube video. And I thought I could time it perfectly well with this, but it looks like Foxy Grandpa's making some kind of comeback. So I guess we're just gonna keep going with this. And Foxy Grandpa on the verge of this miraculous comeback here. Can HoneyBee choke it up in this first game against Foxy Grandpa? No, instead goes for the jump in one, takes full advantage of the fact that it hit. Now, once you're in that much frame advantage, you can really do whatever you want, or it kind of just limits the options of the opponent. And in that case, Foxy Grandpa, it limits his options, not giving him, not really, usually making it a very bad idea to move, to press a button. So HoneyBee knew he could avoid the clash, and just decided to finish him out with a throw. And HoneyBee getting that first hit. Now, the first hit in this game is very, very important, because as you can see there, it does reward you that one bar immediately. And when you have a character like Flash, you can go right into the Speed Force and do so much damage with one bar. It's very, very important. Usually you got to do something real ballsy, real quick to get that first hit on Batman, because once Batman starts every single game with his full trait activated, so he's got all three bats ready to be summoned, and it's very, very tough to get that first hit against Batman when he has those mechanical bats at his disposal, where he can just kind of throw them out whenever he wants. HoneyBee pretty much in control this first round. Did get a few combos in by Foxy Grandpa, but HoneyBee does secure it. He's got him in the corner, but this corner is not like most of the other corners we're used to seeing in the fighting game community, in pretty much any fighting game. This corner gives you access to escapes there, but HoneyBee kind of all over it. Not a hard read, not a full punish, but kind of more anticipated that he was going to use it, recognized that he was going to use it, and was able to kind of mix him up with the low there. Foxy Grandpa with that forward two straight into the up. Batarang meter burns it. So much damage. It's just so... You can get so many conversions off so many different things as Batman, especially when you have those mechanical bats out. HoneyBee opting to escape there. The down two of Flash, I think, might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Flash's down two is one of the hardest ones to deal with, specifically because that hitbox lowers him so low.
I'll never ever stop.
Didn't really... Still adjusting the volume in my headset here, so I didn't really get to hear that quote, but I'm sure it was amazing. HoneyBee gets the overhead with the ground pound, meter burning it and finishing him off in the corner. Now, this isn't... I'm not sure if this set is a race to a specific number. Hang me if I'm completely wrong, but usually when you play with a top player, you're playing more to gain experience. Now, this is before E-League, so this is Foxy Grandpa's preparation to getting ready for E-League. Not sure if we're going to see anything besides a Deadshot. Not sure if he's trying to surprise people with a Batman pick, but this is him getting ready for it. And look at that, Foxy Grandpa able to cover the huge recovery that comes from the 1-2-3 string with that mechanical bat. So if HoneyBee really wanted to punish it, if he had the meter, he probably could have done a meter burn forward 3 or meter burn back 3 to absorb the mechanical bat and go for the punish on those recovery frames. Goes in for the slide. Unfortunately for Foxy, he was a little too close to convert it with the one mechanical bat that he had out. Finds a nice combo in that back 1-1, but unfortunately mistimed the mechanical bat. Just kind of fell out of things there. HoneyBee getting opened up by that back 2-3. Now the second hit of that back 2-3 where he takes out the batarangs. Now this is a very interesting string because it's kind of one of those strings where you have to anticipate everything that Batman's going to do. Now if Batman just does regular back 1, if just does regular back 2 where he pulls the batarang out, he's actually -12 on block. Very punishable by anyone in the cast. However, if he finishes it for the second hit, gets the overhead, he can convert it to something in a lot of different situations, specifically if he's got a mechanical bat out or if he's got access to the corner like you just saw Foxy Grandpa doing out there. Now that is a death wish there. When Flash has you, when his trait is activated and he's got you in a combo anywhere on the screen, opting to air tech out is a death sentence. It's basically kissing 2 bars goodbye because Flash is so fast while that trait is activated that he can just find you and punish you for those landing recovery frames from the air escape. And Foxy Grandpa taking his first game in this set so far. Finishing it off with a back 2-3. I feel like HoneyBee got opened up by a lot of back 2-3s in that situation. If you want to talk about offline versus online, a lot of people say it's way easier to block offline once you get used to the timing. Foxy Grandpa with the 2-2-3 string, going for a meterless conversion because HoneyBee did get the first hit. Foxy Grandpa did not. Foxy's got some meter of his own, so let's see what he does with it. But speaking of meter, here we go. HoneyBee using it to full effect here, hitting him with the double overhead. Such a annoyance in that jumping 2. The fact that it hits multiple times, and as long as you hit it on your way down from a jump in, it's gonna be registered and considered as an overhead. So it kind of throws a lot of people off because, once you jump in, everyone's like looking for the low or looking for anything else. No one's really anticipating double hitting air attacks in this game. Foxy Grandpa going for the standing reset there. HoneyBee does block it, but I'm not sure if he was getting a little too antsy. I don't know if he was trying to possibly push block in that situation, but he wanted Foxy Grandpa off, and Foxy Grandpa couldn't really capitalize there. Not sure if HoneyBee's going for some kind of standing reset there. I know it's a very tricky situation with that wake up attack. Oh, I'm sorry, that special move, not really on wake up. HoneyBee blocking the mechanical bats there. Now that's a very good presence of mind there. Very amazing matchup knowledge. Knowing that you can where to backdash is really a huge chunk of the battle when it comes to learning a specific matchup, learning how to stop your opponent. Not sure if that crossed up or not. I'm pretty sure it did. It was a very deep jump in 2. Foxy Grandpa trying his best to make it nice and ambiguous. HoneyBee forces the clash.
Your future.
Not the smartest choice.
HoneyBee's trying to destroy the future of Foxy Grandpa, trying to get anything going, trying to tie up this set. Look at that. HoneyBee reacting to the forward 3, jumping, and the cancel, seeing that the jump in 2 is coming.
Arkham's your next stop.
Not while I'm still running.
The Flash is always running, so I guess he's never going to Arkham. So HoneyBee was able to recognize that Batman was in jumping 2 range and canceled out of the running man stance. And here we go. This should be it for HoneyBee unless he drops it. No, he doesn't. And it's a really bad feeling dying with all 4 of your bars because you feel like those were opportunities that you missed. It could have been a batarang that you might have wanted to meter burn. It could have been a meter burn roll to just kind of get you in there. Could have been an air escape, but again, air escaping against the Flash when he's got the Speed Force character power activated is a death sentence. Look at that nice chunk, nearly 50% of Batman's health. HoneyBee's got Foxy in the corner. Foxy just trying to fight out with the 2-2-3 string. Gets the slide, gets the momentum on his side, and I guess HoneyBee's just getting a little too antsy trying to move. Great job of blocking there. The mix-up with the back... Hold on. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like that. He mixed them up with the back two cancel into the slide. Usually back 2-3 is an overhead on the second hit. Cancels into the slide for the low. And because he was in the corner, he was able to let go of his mechanical bat and convert it with the down 2. I'm in shock. I've never, ever seen that setup before. Big drop there, and he goes for it again. HoneyBee trying to punish the very unsafe slide there. And Foxy Grandpa's mechanical bat was all over it. Knew how to exactly defend against it. HoneyBee on the verge of making this comeback, gets rid of the first bar. Now here's where the Flash is at a very strange situation. You know, Flash doesn't really have any full screen presence. So he, no matter what, whether he's got a life lead, whether he's got his trade up or not, when he's fighting someone who's got projectiles, the ability to kind of build meter at all times, it forces the Flash to really come in. And, you know, Foxy knows that. And Foxy being the caliber player that he is, he's all over it and he's ready to take advantage of it. Back 2-3 whiff there. Don't really see HoneyBee hunting him down, probably because he's scared of the bat.
I'm faster than you in every way.
So far, I've held back.
And HoneyBee using 2 bars. Now using 2 bars in a clash, I'd say is a nice, great middle ground for a lot of things.
I never lose.
I know how this one ends.
So if you guys don't know the way the clash system works, you know, the first bar, if you win by 1 bar, you either get a health regain of 15% or damage dealt of 15% to your opponent if they're the ones defending. And so the second bar gets you an additional 10%, but I guess I'll go a little bit more into that when they give me some kind of gap here. But right now, HoneyBee is just doing mix-up after mix-up on Foxy Grandpa. But anyway, back to the clash. So the clash mechanic goes into 15, then 10, then 5, and then 3%, depending on how much bar you win by. So we're going to rematch. You know, usually, again, these online sets, a lot of players do not like wasting time. They would rather have their hands on the matchup. Want to figure out what's what. You know, even though HoneyBee would love the full corner control that he only gets on one side of this stage, he's gonna just, you know, kind of keep going with it. So he goes for a standing reset. He's got the background bounce in the back, but, you know, Batman doesn't really need it. He can really get a lot of meterless damage from so many different ways, so many different techniques throughout the game. So he's just kind of jumping in, and Foxy Grandpa, I'm not sure if he's recognizing and reacting to the fact that HoneyBee's jumping in with a jump in 1 and meeting him with buttons on the way down, but that's typically what you want to do. When your opponent does go for a jump in 1 commitment, they really can't keep you down and bully you with grounded attacks.
No way to beat me.
I'm Batman.
So interesting situation there. If you guys saw the mind game there, HoneyBee, you know, normally would like to just spend 1 or 2 bars, but he didn't want to chance Foxy Grandpa using any of his bars. So unfortunately for him, he was forced to use 3 bars. And if you really think about what that 3rd bar got him, it only got him 5% more. But you know, hindsight is 20/20, and that's the whole mind game behind the clash mechanic, is that you don't know how much your opponent is willing to spend to try to meet your health regain attempts. Foxy Grandpa converting with the jump in 2, going for the ambiguous setup there. Now, what you see there, what you see happening is Batman resetting you with the neutral jump 2. And once he hits you with that neutral jump 2 at the end of his combo, he's at such a high amount of frame advantage. Now, what I mean by frame advantage is the fact that he can move way before his opponent can move. He can move so much that he can go in for an ambiguous jump in 2 that's not going to combo and possibly lead into a whole new combo into so much damage. Foxy Grandpa really kind of, you know, using that as his main combo starter, that 2-2-3 string, The best thing about that string is that it interrupts a lot of buttons after anyone tries to press something after jumping 2. You know, and I know the game says that it hits mid, high, mid, but it's not really a true high. I feel like it acts more like a regular mid. Not sure if it was done on purpose or not, but either way, it makes the string amazing. Foxy Grandpa trying to close this out, sends out the mechanical bats, and you know, HoneyBee caught trying to advance after the back 2-3. You know, when you're fighting Batman, you really have to, you know, manage his trait, really see when he has those mechanical bats out, and you know, you have to anticipate his actions, his movement. You know, when he's got those bats out, he's a little bit more willing to go for those ballsy moves. He's a little bit more, he's willing to go for those slides because he knows that they'll have his back. So you really got to pay attention. It's almost like the Batman player changes from mechanical bat to no mechanical bat over and over again throughout this entire set, throughout an entire match, in any matchup. HoneyBee opening him up with the low there, converting meterlessly with that down 2. Now that's very important. You know, it's always great to have your B&Bs down in any fighting game, but you need to make sure you have your B&Bs down in almost every different situation.
Trying to kill me?
I'll never ever stop.
Both players opting to use no bar there. That's very interesting, especially seeing that one player had full bar, everything. But I think Foxy is basically calling out HoneyBee, saying that you're not going to use any of those 2 bars, and I'm going to have the meter advantage once I force the clash here. But a little too early on that forward throw. Maybe that's a setup that Foxy needs to really practice there. It just seemed like a big mistake.
Faster than you in every way.
So far, I've held back.
It just seemed like a big mistake there by Foxy Grandpa. A slight miscalculation on the hit advantage. Back 2-3, and HoneyBee's just respecting it, trying to stay very calm, waiting for his opening. But that's the thing against Batman, is when he's got that one mechanical bat out and you're waiting for the opening, that entire time he's building his next trade out. So he's always going to have it ready. So, you know, it's kind of like a catch-22. You really don't know if you should sit there and just let him charge up his trait, let him build meter, or if you should just go in and try to force an opening. But right there, Foxy Grandpa taking it over HoneyBee in this set. And players are rematching. Again, like I said before, you just kind of want to get in there, get that experience. You know, Foxy Grandpa wants to make sure his Batman's ready for E-League. And HoneyBee beating him with that jump in 1, reacting to the fact that it hit and going right into that special move. The Flash Force keeping him up high, and that was a ridiculous reset. I did not even see it. It kind of looked like an OTG. Very similar to an OTG setup right there with that forward 3. Sends out the mechanical bats, unfortunately was not able to convert. And again there, HoneyBee recognizing every single gap in, you know, in what a staple Batman player does. He usually goes for the back 1-1 into the up battering, and that shows you a player that's really calculated, a player that's done his homework and really knows and has studied the matchup. HoneyBee not converting into much here. Not sure if he's looking for something of the like, you know, something to avoid the clash here, but kind of looked like he just went straight into another combo there. Ambiguous jump in 2 right there, as you can see it. As soon as he was done with the combo, left him in a standing position, finished the combo with the jump in 2, and just took complete advantage of the fact that you cannot move. All you can do is guess left or right. HoneyBee going for the meterless stuff. And Foxy really had no other option. He had to air escape there. But this could be the means of a comeback here. A good block there by HoneyBee. Doesn't have the meter to push block. Continues to block. It just wants nothing to do with Batman. Just wants to stay away with that jump back 1. Oh, Foxy Grandpa's going to convert this. And HoneyBee finally has the meter to clash. He has it right here.
There's no way to beat me.
Don't be so sure.
he had the meter to clash. He didn't want to clash the first time because he didn't want to eat 15%, and he wanted his opportunity to get something back. Goes right into the Speed Force. Now, in this state, HoneyBee, now when the Flash's Speed Force character power is activated, the Flash cannot block. The Flash is super fast. You know, realistically, and you know, in terms of like the gameplay mechanics, he's the same speed as he always is. Just the rest of the world and the rest of the universe just slows down for him. So Flash is super fast. He just cannot block. And a great block there by HoneyBee. The last minute decision to go for the cross up, but Foxy Grandpa finds the stray low there. Alright, we're going for a standing reset here. Which way is HoneyBee going to block? He decides it's not a cross-up, and he guesses right. Foxy Grandpa with a conversion here again. You know, I really like Foxy's bat management. Very, very few times throughout this entire set so far have you ever seen 2 or 3 mechanical bats built up. He's just always got one out there. He's always just kind of cycling through it. And, you know, that's because his down 2 into straight grapple conversions are a little bit different from other Batman players, and they usually give him enough time to call out a mechanical bat and have one ready to oppress you and just hold you down. He doesn't even have to send it out. He just has to inflict you with the fear of that mechanical bat coming out at any moment. And I like HoneyBee's decision there to kind of go for a little bit of a longer combo there. Now Foxy forced to use all 3 of his bats here. Now I know it doesn't seem like it's great, but in some ways it is better, because right now Foxy has to wait for this entire first bat to build up. But it looks like it's about to happen right now, and HoneyBee guessing wrong again with that ambiguous jump in 2 setup. And Foxy abusing that very unsafe string just because he's got the mechanical bat out there. And HoneyBee all over it. He's got him in the corner. Foxy forces the clash.
Not while I'm still running.
Alright, gets 15% back for the 1 bar that he won by. And that was a good guess by Foxy Grandpa, kind of getting a feel for HoneyBee's.
There's no way to beat me.
I am Batman.
He's kind of getting a feel for HoneyBee's clash mentality. Now, because he was able to spend 1 bar, he had the meter to meet HoneyBee's clash and not give him any room, any chance to get any kind of health back. And because of that, now let's say Foxy Grandpa on that first clash, let's say he blew 2 bars or 3 bars like most people normally would. And if HoneyBee got that clash, and if HoneyBee had the meter advantage in his clash, the clash that he initiated, HoneyBee would have had enough health to withstand that last attack there by Foxy Grandpa. So that game, you could say it really came down to that one decision, that one chess move like decision by Foxy Grandpa to go with just 1 bar. And the back 2-3 opening up HoneyBee. Not sure if he's not blocking, you know, standing, if he's not blocking that overhead move by standing, or maybe he's trying to get a little antsy, trying to move. And Foxy Grandpa meeting him there with the mechanical bat and whiff punishing there. Whiff punishing. Now that's one of the most important things in all fighting games. You know, being able to kind of force your opponent to whiff his buttons and leaving himself or herself completely open to an attack. And because of that whiff punish, Foxy Grandpa is off to a great lead here. But HoneyBee with the anti-air there tries to go for the side switch, just a little too slow. Ironically, was the Flash player. Has 2 bats out. Recognizes that the bat's connected. Going for the 2-2-3 string. And here we go. We're going to leave him in a standing situation. Just bullying him with buttons. And again, the setup there. The back 2-3 into the low. Very, very tricky stuff.
I'm faster than you in every way.
So far, I've held back.
We know Batman's holding back because Batman is the best. And a textbook punish there by Foxy Grandpa. Unfortunately, he dropped the combo, but I don't really think he was sweating it. And this set's tied up at 5-5. And I don't know if we're staying on the Fortress of Solitude forever. Now, this game, unlike pretty much every other fighting game. This game, the stages matter so much. Not just, you know, the length in the stages like, you know, it does in a few fighting games like Street Fighter. But just the ability to interact with the background, to interact with the things that you can pick up. There's unblockable attacks or low attacks, overhead attacks, and there are even ways to escape, like you can in this corner that HoneyBee is carrying Foxy Grandpa all the way to, but he denies him access to the escape at the very last minute. But Foxy Grandpa guesses right in the blender, gets the standing reset here. And Foxy Grandpa going for that setup again. HoneyBee deciding to get out of there, but Foxy Grandpa putting him right back in there. Gonna take him out with a combo of the meterless variety. And Foxy Grandpa's got 2 bats ready to just inflict more and more fear into HoneyBee's heart. And you know, there's really no reason for Foxy Grandpa to not just do back 2 threes. If they hit, it's fine. If it whiffs, he's okay because he's got 2 mechanical bats ready to back him up. And I love when I see the 1-1-3 string from a lot of different Batman players. There is a gap in there that anyone can meter him back 3 or forward 3, but the combo ability in the corner and the plus frames when you force someone to block it are just so great. It's such a great string not to use in this game. You can't use it all the time, but it's a good one to just kind of throw in there once in a while, as Foxy Grandpa did there against HoneyBee. And Foxy Grandpa takes the lead in this set, going up 6-5. And again, we're staying on the Fortress of Solitude. We're staying on the stage that gets you out of the left corner, no problem. Goes for the slide there, and there he goes. That is just a perfect way to punish a Batman, because like I said before, a Batman player's mentality will completely change when he's got those mechanical bats out. Like, completely. They'll say, it's okay, I can go for reckless slides, I can go for reckless strings. But HoneyBee just all over it. I mean, look, if anything in any fighting game, not just Injustice 2, any fighting game, if something really irks you, like, wow, I really wish this character wouldn't get away with this, as long as you do research and hit the lab, recreate the scenario, and try to find ways around it, you can really get over things that bother you in this game. You know, same thing with interactables that seem a little unfair. Lab them out. Really figure out what's going on there. Really figure out where the holes, where the gaps are. And Foxy Grandpa just hitting this setup every single time. I'm so impressed by that setup. You know, it's just a little dangerous. It's a very dangerous setup if someone sees it coming. But I love it. I love it. It's been working on HoneyBee almost every single time. The down 2, the trickiest down 2 to deal with. The low profiling. I'll just stop talking about down 2. That down 2 drives me up the wall. So tough to hit at certain points. And it's just great anti-air. Really, really great anti-air. The overhead into the meter burn combo keeps him in the corner. Fakes out the forward 3. Plating out. See right there, what that is, there was a huge gap. If Foxy Grandpa pressed the button, if he jumped, if he did anything but block, he would have blown that setup up. But luckily for HoneyBee, he didn't. HoneyBee held the forward 3, implementing and kind of planting the seed of the overhead into Foxy Grandpa's head, and then dashing forward and going straight for the low. Very tricky stuff. Foxy's got so much meter. Again, the setup works.
There's no way to beat me.
I'm Batman.
Now this is a heartbreaker for HoneyBee. He's down 2 to 3 bars, so he's gonna take 15%, down to nothing, and Foxy Grandpa grabs the interactable. Very, very tough interactable to punish someone for using, even when you know exactly when they're gonna do it. I mean, you don't really get much for it, but in that situation, Foxy Grandpa said, you know what? It's gonna be hard for him to punish me for this, and if it lands, I gotta win. So why not go for it? All right, the mechanical bats have been sent out. The first hit has not been initiated yet. But look at all this meter that he's building. All right, and HoneyBee dragging him all the way to the corner, keeping him mixed up. And And no back 2-3 there by Foxy Grandpa, but HoneyBee getting a little reckless there, trying to just shove that down 2 down Foxy Grandpa's throat. And like I said, 2-2-3 is a great string. It doesn't leave you at a great frame advantage after it's blocked. And this is 2-2-3 by Batman, of course. It doesn't leave you a great frame advantage once it's blocked, but it's a great way to blow up buttons. It's a mid that, you know, can really stop a pesky move like Flash's down 2 that really low profiles him all the way down, but I guess not low enough for that that stand 2. Connects the forward 3 and HoneyBee being very respectful, not pressing a button there. Alright, goes for a standing reset, throws the up battering there, and just kind of bullying HoneyBee there. And you know, you gotta, that is pure desperation, is going for a backdash when your back is up against the corner, knowing that the only way that this backdash is going to help you is the invincibility frames. But HoneyBee could make this comeback. He's done it before, but it's going to be very, very tough against a character with mechanical bats. He's really got to open him up every single time. He's got to not let the mechanical bats open himself up, and he's just got to keep the aggression on. And Foxy Grandpa, just like his dead shot play, really always willing to spend that push block just to buy himself a little bit of real estate, to buy himself some room every time he's got the meter. And somehow the startup frames on that full screen shake were just a little too much for the Batarang as HoneyBee tries to avoid it, and it was just a little too slow. Unfortunately gets hit by it. HoneyBee was on the verge of making a miraculous comeback, but Foxy Grandpa put an end to it. Alright, gets the first hit, converts it, and keeps the pressure going. Hits him with the overhead, doesn't have the meter to continue it, but he does have the speed force at his disposal. And that was a big whiff there, most likely because of Foxy Grandpa's delayed wake up there. A very short one, but still very delayed. HoneyBee was not anticipating it. Yeah, I feel like that was, you know, when it comes to mix-up on wake-up heavy characters in this game when it first came out, that was a lot of the complaints came from, is the fact that these characters and every character in this game now has access to a delayed wake-up. Not only just a delayed wake-up, but you could either do a short delayed wake-up or a long delayed wake-up. So you have 3 different wake-up timings in this game. So if your character is very, very dependent on mixing your opponent up from a wake-up situation, that mechanic's really going to get under your nerves. But I feel like all it took was just some time to adjust it. And right there, the trade, the mechanical bat to Foxy Grandpa's demise, gave HoneyBee the setup that he was looking for. But Foxy Grandpa back in the driver's seat. And the stare down there, Foxy Grandpa knowing exactly when HoneyBee was going to press a button. But look at the conversion, forces the clash.
Not while I'm still running.
However, look at this. Foxy Grandpa initiated the clash, and a very, very great guess there by HoneyBee, knowing that Foxy Grandpa was not going to spend any of his meter, didn't want to spend more than what was necessary to take out a nice chunk of 15% out of Foxy Grandpa's health. But Foxy Grandpa is about to run away with this. HoneyBee needs to get his hit. Doesn't matter if he's got the meter lead or not. And he finds the hit. Foxy Grandpa still has an air escape at his disposal. Opts not to use it. Goes for the backdash, and HoneyBee hunts him down with the overhead. And again, when you flip out while the Flash's character power is activated, it's a death sentence. You're kissing 2 bars of meter goodbye, because he's going to hunt you down and he's going to continue the combo. It's just that simple. The slide there by Foxy Grandpa, getting him something. Goes for a slide again. Now we're going to see a standing reset here. Goes for the cross-up. HoneyBee meets him with a down 2. A very good way to kind of stop, you know, everyone complains about Batman's jump 2 and that it's, you know, the hitbox is huge, and it definitely is. But some characters have a way to kind of stop it, and you really gotta work on your defense. You really gotta just up your defense game and anticipate where this ambiguous jumping to is coming at. I'm kidding. Alright, so HoneyBee goes for the hard knockdown. He's all over Foxy Grandpa, hops over him, goes for the low, opens him up, uses the background bounce, Goes for the hard knockdown again. He likes the setup here, going with the overhead, going back to the low. Running man stance cancels. It's too fast. It's even too fast for me. I can't comprehend and I can't understand this. Foxy Grandpa meeting him in the air with a jump in one. And Foxy Grandpa dashing in, going with the throw, the back throw to kind of buy himself some real estate. He wants to stay away from that corner because that corner is the corner in this stage that does not give you an interactable to escape from very easily. So Foxy Grandpa's like, you know what? If I'm going in any direction, I'm going to the left side of the stage. Drops the conversion there. I guess Foxy Grandpa should have possibly put in another button there in between. Or maybe he just hit the stand one a little too late. Activates the Speed Force there. HoneyBee pushing Foxy Grandpa to the corner that he desperately does not want to be in. Decides to clash.
I'll never ever stop.
Deciding to clash here is a great way to kind of just reset the momentum. He gets 15% back for his troubles, and he's no longer near that corner. And that's really where HoneyBee's getting a lot of mix-up potential. All right, and he's converting here. We're going to see a standing reset here. Which side he's going to guess it? The game says crosses up, but I don't know which side it is. The only person that knows is HoneyBee because he's the one trying to block it. It looks like HoneyBee found a pretty solid answer when it comes to Batman's very reckless slide there when he's got those mechanical bats out to either help keep him safe or convert into more damage if the slide does hit. HoneyBee trying to get under those batarangs. Now this is very scary stuff. He can't block. And my timing was thrown off a little bit because of the character power there, but it looks like Foxy Grandpa recognized that he got hit in the while the character power was activated and decided to go for the delay wake up because as long as you're on the ground, you cannot get hit. So he's just kind of timing out the delay wake up. HoneyBee going straight into the Speed Force just to get that first hit, converts more with that use of meter, gets the back three, and he's got him in the corner. However, you got to watch out because Foxy Grandpa can escape just like he did right there. And HoneyBee trying to follow him right there, and Foxy Grandpa just kind of waiting for him like, okay, I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it. Just do it. Just do it. Great conversion there. Applying the pressure, continuing this corner game. Oh, Foxy Grandpa back at the mercy of HoneyBee's kicks over and over again.
I am the fastest man alive.
Connects to the tries to find something of that forward 2-3, and Foxy Grandpa doing a lot of backdashing here whenever he's at any kind of frame disadvantage. You know, forward 2-3 isn't much of a frame disadvantage, but you know, it's enough for you to kind of not want to challenge great buttons, such as the buttons that Flash has. All right, and with the use of bar, Foxy Grandpa able to secure that first bar over HoneyBee, but HoneyBee is at a slight lead right now. There it is. It doesn't matter. Those mechanical bats just make it work. Foxy, just take the hit. It's fine. So now what's happening there is the Flash usually has an animation following up after that. But because he got hit by the mechanical bat, it kind of canceled the animation where the Flash is recovering, and it's leaving Batman in a standing state there. You know, allowing HoneyBee to continue the combo or to, you know, continue the momentum or the pressure. Oh, HoneyBee all over the throw, but I don't see this I don't see this ending well for him. Goes for the push block, doesn't want anything to do with it, and such a smart move there by Foxy Grandpa. The batarangs normally, when you let them rock, they're just going to go high and they're going to soar over anyone crouching. But as soon as you meter burn it, it expands the hitbox, and it was able to just barely reach HoneyBee. You know, and because the Speed Force was activated, the Flash was not able to block. So good choice there by Foxy Grandpa. And Foxy, you know, really in control in this set, going up 10-6. And the stand 2-2 doing so much work for Foxy Grandpa. Not saying that it's, you know, it's no thought or anything involved here. Again, letting him being comboed after giving HoneyBee the full punish there without the use of any kind of meter. But no, 2-2-3, you're going to be seeing this. This is a very smart move by Foxy Grandpa, using it more in this matchup because of the flashes down 2 and insert a lot of different situations. You know, that's what fighting games are all about, is adapting and changing your game plan, you know, versus specific players, versus specific characters. And in a case like Injustice 2, depending on in different stages, different arenas, different situations, you know, it just adds more and more layers into this amazing fighting game. It's the back 2-3, and HoneyBee does not want to. He doesn't want to attack. He wants nothing to do with it. But he punishes that one once it whiffs, and he just wasn't able to kind of hold on to this momentum. Foxy Grandpa finding something. However, HoneyBee was airborne, so got to cut the combo a little short. And I believe that was not a cross-up. HoneyBee opts to go use those 2 bars to get out of the combo, but he found a combo of his own. Doesn't hit the background bounce. Huge drop there, and great recognition by Foxy Grandpa to see that whiff.
So far, I've held back.
Okay, they're only like saying 3 different Clash quotes. Maybe I shouldn't have shut up for all of them, but I did. The stray mechanical bat hits HoneyBee. Unfortunately, Foxy was not able to capitalize on it. The back 2-3 doesn't send out the bat for the grapple conversion. Not sure what was happening there. Definitely an input error. No way he wanted Sky Grapple.
I never lose.
I know how this one ends.
And Foxy Grandpa had 3 bars at his disposal, but decided that the 1 bar was not worth getting 15% back. Now that's a very, very strange assumption there, and Foxy Grandpa might die for it. And he absolutely did. Now, you can completely attest that loss to possibly that awful decision. I don't know why he went for it. I don't know why he just said, HoneyBee had nothing. He had nothing to counter his bet. So he had 1, 2, or 3 bars to bet to get any kind of health. 1 bar is definitely worth 15%, especially in that close game situation. Not sure what Foxy was going for. Maybe he was trying to swag out with a nice super, with a super. Who knows? Going to be bullying him over and over again in this corner, meeting him in the air with that jumping one. Now you really, it's hard to contest against Batman's jumping 2 in the air. You really have to just kind of, you have to anticipate it. You have to guess that he's going for it and meet him with a faster button. Usually anyone's jumping 1, as long as it's if you jump and anticipate it, you should be able to beat Batman's jump 2. But it's a little bit of a risky move. You can't do it recklessly and you can't do it mindlessly. You really have to pay attention to when you think he's going to jump. And HoneyBee all over this game. Foxy Grandpa just getting hit mix after mix, and HoneyBee, he's not dropping the combo right there. What he's doing, he's avoiding the clash because Foxy Grandpa's got 4 bars to get anything back. So, you know, HoneyBee's going to be going for 1 or 2 hits there, not giving him the opportunity to clash. He's going to be going for back 3s, forward 3s, or possibly throws. All things that you cannot clash in this game. Leaving him in a standing reset position, but HoneyBee's okay. He's not sweating it because right now he's got the light. He's got the meter lead and the life lead. So now HoneyBee can initiate the clash because he'll be able to really hurt Foxy Grandpa for doing it. Foxy Grandpa with a nice combo with a jump in 2 and then meeting him with a forward 3 before he even hits the ground. HoneyBee opting not to clash. I know where this is going. Everyone knows where this is going. He's got full bar. What's he going to do? He's waiting for something. This is tense. Never mind. This is not tense. He's just going for it. I really wanted a super. HoneyBee wanted the super. I think even Foxy Grandpa wanted the super. But guys, thank you so much for listening. I guess I didn't really do an intro. But yeah, I'm Darth Arma, just doing a little bit of commentary work for HoneyBee sets. I feel like it's something to just kind of jazz it up. I really enjoy watching HoneyBee's Flash do any kind of work. And it was a lot of fun watching him play at E-League, and this set was incredible. I cannot wait to see Foxy Grandpa's Batman in action. So, guys, make sure you subscribe to HoneyBee's channel. Always putting out content for everyone, and if you really want a perfect way to play Flash. Just watch and imitate this god.